Okay. I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Culture of Ambition. And today we have Vedant, Rishi, Vignesh, Pranav, and Siddharth. And today's topic is going to be discipline versus motivation, and we're going to talk about much more stuff. Rishi, would you like to start us off with what you think motivation is?
Motivation. So I feel like what motivation in my eyes is like the initial spark that triggers change. It's like the spark to a fire. But discipline, in my eyes, is what keeps the fire going and eventually leads to overall success. So you guys have anything
I
to
feel
add
like
on?
if you don't have motivation, you still need discipline, because like if you're not motivated to do something, and without discipline, you actually won't do it. So
So what you're saying, you think you need motivation to be disciplined?
no, you need discipline no matter what. So whether you have motivation or not, you need discipline, because like even without motivation, you'll still do it. Without discipline though, if you don't have motivation, you won't do whatever you want.
Okay, so my question for all you guys is, right, there's a guy, he's 400 pounds,
Yeah.
he needs to lose 200 pounds.
Yeah.
What would motivate, or why would he be disciplined in losing the weight? What's going to trigger his change?
He needs to have something like a reason for doing it. You can't just say.
So is that motivation?
Isn't that motivation?
That's not. That's no. But discipline is powered by that motivation. You're not going to be disciplined to do anything. Like you say, like, so, like I'm wondering, is he actually motivated, or is he just seeing other people who seem very masculine or very strong and doing what they tell him to do? There's no discipline behind what he's doing because he's just hearing it from other people. But if there's like a specific event tied to why he's doing something, he'll be more inclined to do it.
So you think there needs to be that initial spark, though? Does
There
that
needs to
initial
be
spark
something that
come with
really
this?
that really fuels them to actually achieve their goals.
So you wouldn't develop that discipline in the first place
You
without
wouldn't do-
motivation, is
without
what you're saying.
motivation, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we can't. So that just takes out like the thing that like motivation isn't important. So motivation is important, but it's not like something that you can rely on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think you can rely on motivation for a very small period of time. But if you want to create like constant change that's like impacts your life, you need discipline, because there's gonna be some days.
You don't feel motivated. Yeah.
Exactly. There's gonna be like, I'm gonna say it's more than 50% of the time you're not gonna feel motivated. So what are you gonna do in that like 60 to 70% of the time where you're gonna just like not do anything? In that percent of time, I think that's when discipline really kicks in and keeps the momentum flowing.
Yeah, and I think discipline comes first always, right? When you have a goal and you're trying to achieve it, let's say get in shape, make $1 million, whatever it is. You have a goal, you need to be disciplined 90% of the way, right? You have to be disciplined in order to get your goal. But then I ask, let's not completely downplay motivation, right?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Right?
Thanks, Siri.
It's important to also stay motivated, because why not end up loving what you do, right? Like initially you'll have to stay disciplined to reach your goals, and you'll need that discipline to carry out throughout your journey. But I ask, why not develop a motivation for doing what you do as well? Why not develop a love for what you do?
Yeah, I feel like a big part of like something like going to the gym, right, is momentum. You need to start off, you need to be disciplined. But then once you gain that traction, like eventually you won't need to be disciplined anymore to keep doing it all the time. You'll just be motivated all the time. That's what I think.
You'll be motivated all the time once you get used to it. I mean, yeah, kind of.
This is a quote I just saw by Mike Tyson.
Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing like you love it. This is really true. This kind of relates to my quote, which is once you get obsessed with the grind, which is like obsessed with developing self improvement, then you start obsessing over it. Which that obsessive like personality, or that obsessive behavior can be also known as motivation. So I guess that's kind of true in a sense, but I don't think it's true all the time, right? Because this definition can be subjective. What do you guys think?
What definition can you say? The definition of motivation?
So the definition of motivation can be subjective, because Siddharth said that if once you start going to the gym so much that you get discipline in everything, you don't need discipline anymore, and you can just rely on motivation.
Okay,
Is that going to be considered as motivation or discipline?
I mean, actually, wait. Let me correct that. Cause like, now to think about it, like there will be some times even after you gain that traction where like you just don't want to go to the gym, and in those times you still might be disciplined, but you will definitely need it a lot less than earlier.
You know what's actually interesting is, I feel like the concept of what you guys are describing as discipline is can also be described as momentum.
Yeah.
Once you get the ball rolling, and it's much harder to make your first $100,000 than it is to make your first, whatever. But I'm just saying, getting that initial phase of, let's say someone wants to lose weight, the initial is always the hardest part. But I feel like discipline and momentum work hand in hand, and it's more productive when they're both working in your favor.
Also, I think if you get the ball rolling, you'll actually start seeing.
Yeah.
All right. You'll actually start seeing progress, and it'll make you want to work more.
So you think progress is also a big motivator
Yeah.
as well? Okay. So that's interesting though.
Yeah, it's like you have a cliff that's like, let's say like you have like a mountain right here, right? Like this is like you're rolling the ball, you're rolling like the rock or whatever, yeah. And then like it's like slant from there. So you need to like discipline like for this part. But then once it starts rolling, there might be some bumps along the way, but then it'll just be a lot easier and more smooth.
It's kind of like Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Because Sisyphus was never complacent, and I think that's definitely needed. If you wanna improve yourself, you definitely need to stay non-complacent. Because if you're complacent and if you just want to stay in this like comfort zone and always just want to be like happy and never want to like go through something that might be painful or harsh or annoying or boring, then you're actually never gonna grow. And that's what discipline is required for. Because if you don't have discipline, you will never actually force yourself to do the things that you don't want to do. Like I said before, which is like things that are boring, things that are harsh, or anything that you just don't want to do. What do you guys think about that?
So what do you guys think the biggest motivator is for the majority of people? Do you think it's like family? Do you think it's money? What do you guys think?
I mean, for what thing specifically? Because like,
Let's say that something related to your health, like stop smoking. What do you guys think the biggest?
I think that'd just be like for yourself, right? Because like you don't want to die soon.
What I hear mostly from people, like what I see on the internet, is usually it's family. In terms of smoking, because it's like their kids say something like, "Oh, I don't want you to die, Dad," or something like that,
Okay, but like, what are your guys' goals? Like, what is your topmost goal? Because like my goal is living the life that I want to live when I grow older. So, like being free, not working, having my own business. So that's my goal. What are you guys' goals?
My goal is to support my family and be able to pay for anything, don't have to worry about money at all, and then also able to travel and have all materialistic objects.
My goal is like when I grow up, I want to provide for my family. Like,
Yeah, that's definitely.
to the point that like my future wife might not even have to work, right? So,
Yeah,
like,
that's a fact.
she can like focus on being a mom to my
Yeah.
future kids. Like that's yeah.
What do you think, Polo?
Get famous.
Yeah.
Get famous.
Or
Got it.
not. That sounds bad. Get
It's not bad.
No, the way I worded it. I mean like
No, I'm not as fun as
be influential somewhere.
influential.
Okay, like an influencer, like
Yeah.
like a
Don't use that.
TikTok.
that might be how it comes, but like
Yeah.
in a position where I can like put my word out and people will listen.
Okay.
I just want to be a millionaire and travel a lot.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you guys gonna stay disciplined to do that? Like,
I think with staying disciplined is also having a plan and having course of action, because I feel like if you don't have a plan to get there, then you're just gonna be like floating around.
You know,
Yeah.
I actually heard one thing about planning. Like, it's a quote I heard. Like, so 10 minutes of planning. Like 10 minutes of like planning saves you 1 hour of like of
Effort.
time.
Okay.
1 hour of effort. Like, man,
Yeah.
it's true. Like when
Yeah.
when I don't plan something, like it takes a lot longer. Like a lot longer to do it. But when I take some time to like plan it out, I see that it passes by a little bit quicker.
Yeah. And going back to your initial question, Vedon, how do you stay disciplined? I think that's sort of a question you would ask, like, for how do you stay motivated, right? Discipline is just a mindset that you need to have. There's no tricks. There's no theories. There's no practice. It's just a mindset. You need to be disciplined, right?
Yeah.
And then whereas how it would be like, how do you stay motivated is is the question rather than how do you stay disciplined, because discipline is just something everyone needs to have. It's just a mindset you have to get into. You're gonna have to do the thing no matter how you feel. You're gonna have to do the hard work even when you don't feel like it, right?
Do the hard work, but especially when you don't. feel like
Right?
it.
So it's just discipline's just a mindset you have to have. There's no hows, there's no whys, there's no buts. It's
Yeah.
just you need to
Speaking
have
of-
discipline, right?
What do you guys think of cold showers?
Hold on. Let's not go there yet. But yeah, so he was talking about preparation.
Yeah.
So like I said before, Abraham Lincoln, he actually made this quote right here. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first half of 4 hours stroking the knife.
Yeah.
So that's actually really good, because if you don't even know what to do, if you don't know what your like goals are, if you don't document them down, you're just doing these random things and hoping that they'll be like corresponding.
It'll work
to-
out, yeah.
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 But if you actually have a planner, or if you just jot down your goals and the like steps that you need to do.
Oh, I heard this actually. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's one thing I heard. It's from Andrew Tate, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And so I also in a recent course that I took about leadership, I also learned about vision. What a vision is. The vision is the main like goal that you're looking at. It's the thing that is at the end of the tunnel.
VGP, right?
Right. Yes.
Vision
And
planning.
the goals are the steps to that vision. So what goals do you have to get to that vision? So if I want to be rich, it would be like starting a business, getting connections. Those would be my goals. And then after before the goals, you would have steps. So for each business, or like if I want to make a business, I would have steps. So I would be like make a Shopify account or something like that. You should have steps. You should have goals, and then you should have a vision.
You're like more whatever. It needs to be more specific. The more specific the goal is, the more likely you are to achieve it. Because if you just have a vague goal, like you said, like not to like downplay what you said, but you said find connections, right? It's like connections with food, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to find connections with, like, let's say you have a hotel business. I want to find connections with XYZ at Hilton. You know, like you have to have like a specific target.
That's true.
Yeah, because you need, like, the mainly important thing about having a goal is you need to know what you want, right? A lot of people would just say, oh, I want to become a millionaire. That's what I said in the beginning. But in reality, I just said that for time's sake, right? But in reality, you need to have, like, a specific steps. How am I going to become a millionaire? What exactly am I going to do? Because otherwise, you're just going to be left figuring out things on the way, right? Like, you need to be preparing, just like the quote said, for the journey rather than preparing during the journey.
Yeah, another quote I heard is like, you know, like that really old Disney movie, The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Like they had that one quote like, you can make a wish, but you need to work towards that wish.
That's the one where like she kisses the frog, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here I have a question for all you guys, right? So,
Yeah.
let's say there's an average guy, right? He doesn't really have his life in check. He's doing a lot of bad habits. What would you say to this man in order to increase his discipline? Because he has zero. Let's say he starts at the baseline 0. He has 0 discipline. He can't even wake up and brush his teeth properly. He can't. He's very low in discipline. Does not take care of himself. Does not do anything. Hypothetically. What would you say to this
Is
guy?
he, really quick question, is he like fat or is he like an average?
No, he's fat.
He's just like.
Okay, so
I
not
mean, he doesn't care
In
for himself.
this case, what I imagine is whatever you say to him would give him motivation, right? Like I said before, discipline, it's not something you give to someone, it's something that he'll have to develop on his own.
Okay.
It's something that he'll just have to get the mindset into. Nobody can help him or give him that. But what you can give him is motivation, right? You can tell him, like, you could tell him, oh, there's so many people better than you. Could get into his brain and give him the motivation that he needs to at least start, and hopefully then he'll develop his discipline. But discipline is just something that he'll have to get into mindset by himself.
So like, I actually want to talk about bullying for a second. Like,
Okay.
bullying will like, it kind of like makes someone, like,
Motivate.
they either break or it either makes or breaks a person. Like,
Depends how the person takes it.
Exactly, yeah. Because if the person just takes it as like, okay, I'll always be this way, then they'll be miserable for the rest of their lives. But if they see that bullying, they take it like, all right, I need to improve on these aspects, then they can grow. And that's why I think bullying in some cases is actually like not too bad.
Yeah. So what happened to my brother is like he got bullied, and now he lost 30 pounds. So in that case, was the bullying good or was it bad?
No, I think it really depends on how they take it. But most of the time it'll work out well for them, and if they actually try to improve
Follow
themselves.
through.
Well, maybe it's like a certain type of bullying because not all bullying is good, you know.
I don't think physical bullying is good.
No.
Like beating someone up. I mean,
No,
You gotta
unless okay,
If it's like your parents, like
if you're your parent,
yeah, then that's like
that's not necessarily, but it's like
you gotta
physical.
like target their insecurities if you want to actually see them make change.
you gotta target it.
No, it's
Lock
like,
in.
it's
Yeah,
like if,
it's
so,
a
if,
lock
someone's,
in.
if someone's consistently like, okay, let's just say there's like a 500-pound guy in this room with us, right? And he keeps like tugging on his shirt like this, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to look fat. Well, you are fat. I see like the rolls coming out of your shirt, all right? Like
You can't hide it.
You can't hide it. So,
You're
like,
still fat. Like,
so am I gonna be like,
The way that I would approach it is like not like really bullying them, but I need them to like understand like what they're doing with their life. Because if you're like 30 and you're fat and you're like watching Netflix.
oh,
He's
sorry.
He's from Illinois.
Alright, sorry guys.
No, he lost it. He lost it though. He
He
lost it.
sounded
Good
like-
on him. Good on him.
Okay,
that could be
so if it's like a 30-year-old man just watching Netflix all day and doing nothing, then it's just gonna be really stupid. Then he needs to understand that he's doing nothing with his life. But if he's like 12 years old or something like that, then you could like I guess like a little bit bully him, but like try to motivate him. But if he's like 30 years old, you gotta bully him. So,
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it depends on like how far gone they are.
Like the first step that I would do is like ask them, like, what are you doing right now? And they'll be like, oh, I'm watching Netflix.
If you're over the age of 18, that's the thing that's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Yeah.
18.
But like when you're like a 5-year-old man, like it's
Don't
kinda,
okay.
Yeah,
it messes with your head. It's
You
like
shouldn't even be talking to a 5-year-old.
yeah, don't if you see like a 5-year-old like, who's like a bit chubby, right? Like don't like
Yeah, like
don't say like you're fat. 'Cause, like I actually saw this one time. Like the dude was like, he was crying. He was like, it ruined his.
And
day.
when you call them that, it's like it gets in their head.
Yeah, like, they're so young, so, like,
They need to have that mental capacity to understand it.
yeah.
I didn't.
You don't have
What
that.
age do you think that mental capacity?
18.
18.
I think in general.
So you think we don't have the mental capacity?
Sorry, 14.
No, like it depends on the person, honestly. Like some people get it later, some people get it early.
Yeah, I feel like that in a part.
Like there's some like 40-year-olds out there who like are still insecure, like they take
Yeah.
it the wrong way, like take it like in a bad way.
Depends how the. That's why I think. What do you guys think about like sensitive people?
I mean, I'll say one thing. It depends on the person, obviously, but I think for me it worked. I had someone tell me, right? We got into like an argument over like music or something over text a while back, and he told me, right, like I've never seen you do a lat spread or anything like that, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm working out hard enough, and that motivated me to start working harder, and like when I go to the gym or anything like that, and like now I'm actually like I made some progress, and I actually like am confident enough to say like yeah I've made progress in the gym, and like I've worked on myself a little bit more. Beforehand I was just kind of like going in, I hit like 3 bench press sets, like 5 reps each, said like oh yeah I lift guys, I lift.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I almost see like these like reels and all this stuff. It's like I will not be outworked. No one can outwork me. I'm like, when I think of that, I see that I'm like, what quality work are you putting in? Because I know there's a lot of people who do a lot of work. They say they do a lot of work,
But
but
it's like it's
there's not
bullshit work?
necessarily a lot of
Yeah.
They don't put quality output. Like
That's
there's
not
no
like-
quality output. You know?
There's like deep working and then there's bullshit working. Like,
Yeah.
If you do like if you do like 10 hours, like what 80 hours of
Yeah, like I know
working, it's
something. All you guys probably
10
like,
hours.
experience is like when you're in the zone and you're working.
yeah.
You can get so much more work done than you're like this
You get
working.
you-
Like when you're in the zone with like the headphones in, like you can accomplish more in 1 hour than you could in like 5 hours. That's what I feel like.
you give me 3 hours to finish something, I'll end up doing more work on it in the last 10 minutes than
Yeah.
I do beforehand.
Uh.
I think it's also pressure, right?
Okay, so what do you guys think is the key to making connections?
I feel like for me, I think the key to making connections is having a personality that can actually allow you to be connected. If there's someone who's sitting like this, do you want to connect with them? Not really. Versus a person that's a lot more open, a lot more receptive, happy, like a little bit more outgoing. I feel like you're always attracted to people who are naturally outgoing or naturally like you want to talk to. So I feel
Yeah.
like even if you're an introvert, like I don't like the word. It's like you subjectify yourself as an introvert, but I feel like if you can say you're an introvert, but just be more like when you're around people, just be like a little bit more enthusiastic. Like sometimes I'm like introverted, but like at parties and stuff, when I like want to like talk to people or meet people, like I'll be like more hyper. So it's like, it's actually really interesting. You can like play different characters. You know what I'm saying? Like you at home with your parents is not you here. You at home is not you at school. It's like you can. That's like, it's so beautiful. Like you can play different characters, especially when you're meeting people. You can play a certain persona, but that might not actually be you. So that's pretty interesting. What do you guys think about like creating a personality for yourself?
I think in general you gotta like, firstly go out and do things, and like actually, because a lot of, if you're sitting at home all day, you're not gonna make any connections, unless you're like actually